Good afternoon. This is Al Espinor, Realtor with Century 21 Select Real Estate in Stockton, California, coming to you live from my office. Today on Wednesday, the 14th, we are 3 days away from the big major changes you've probably already heard on the news or read about it somewhere. These are the changes as a result of a lawsuit that was recently settled between former sellers, property owners, and against the National Association of Realtors. These changes in practice of real estate, again, changes in practice, not law yet, not law that eventually I'm sure the states everywhere United States will be making their own laws as well as maybe federal. But for the moment, these are our trade. National Association of Realtors is basically the trade representative of the realtors all across the United States, trade association. That was what I wanted to say. So with that being said, I wanted to just kind of highlight, because there's a lot going on here, a lot of moving parts. I want to just talk about today how this is going to affect buyers as well as sellers, but we're going to focus on the buyers part. And in another video, I'll talk about the sellers part. So as I mentioned, there are going to be changes in practice starting the 17th. In the old days, not too long ago, it wasn't unheard of a buyer calling maybe off the internet, a Zillow listing or any brokers listing out on the internet, and calling a realtor and saying, hey, can you just show me this property today? And most cases, without knowing this person, we might just hop in and meet them at the property. Well, that is going to stop and change for forever, for now. So basically, if you call me today as a buyer, we need to be able to talk, meet in person, and go over the new buyer's representation agreement. We need to go over what is expected from both sides, as a realtor and as the buyers. And I'm just going to kind of share this with you so you kind of have a little bit of an idea of what exactly I am talking about. And I have it probably right here. Let me see if I can bring it up. Again, these are big changes, and it's a lot to take in. Let's see if I got the screen. Okay, so this is basically one of the many forms that you will see as a buyer. Seller payment concession for buyer's broker compensation. Now, this particular form here, which is called SPBB, if you're a buyer and you are not in a position to pay your realtor, your agent, a commission, there is a method in place to include a request for the buyer to consider paying your buyer's agent commission. And this would be included in your offer to purchase. So basically, you would put in the property information, who's representing the buyer, who's representing the seller, and then you would indicate the amount of compensation that you and your realtor have agreed to, and then put this in the offer to present to the seller. Now, of course, this is all negotiable. Commissions have always historically been negotiable. So it is something that the seller can say yes, no, counter. This is going to be one of the new methods that will be used in presenting your offers if in the event you should not be in a position to compensate your buyer's agent directly. So this is one of many forms. The other form that I want to show you, let's see if we have it right here and bring it up live. Okay, so this form here, this is the agency disclosure. For those of you that have had experience dealing with real estate transactions in California, we have AD, agency disclosure. So it explains what a seller's agent is, which basically we also call a listing agent. And of course, the buyer's agent. And then, of course, there can be an agent, dual agency, where a listing agent can represent both the buyer and a seller. So of course, these are choices that have to be agreed upon and negotiated between all parties. Okay, this is the statutory explanation of agency. Civil Section 207913 in California. It might be different in another state. And then, of course, we have the buyer's representation and broker's compensation agreement. So again, this is something now that is going to be required of all brokerages and agents right here in the state of California. Before we can even show you properties, we need to go over this with you and, figure out how you want to work with each one of us, how you want to work with me, for example. Do you want to work short term? Do you want to work, on a trial basis? We have to spell it all out here and put in, what properties areas you're considering. Now, this is going to be really important. This is going to be really important if you're actually in a situation where you're working or considering, maybe you're working with one realtor and it doesn't work out and you want to move on to another realtor. Now you're going to formally have to communicate with the realtor that you no longer want to work with, that you want to cancel, and make sure that you understand the terms. Because again, if it's a non-exclusive representation, short term, then easy. You can cancel, right away, 24 hours, what have you. But if it's an exclusive representation, then the changes won't take effect for at least 30 days, at least a minimum of 30 days. So you need to be, clear on how, and when you sit down with the realtor, how you want, what the term of representation is going to be, so that we have the correct information on the buyer's broker's compensation agreement. Okay. And then, of course, there's the compensation factor that we put in there. And some of our brokerages will also have their own version, one-page version, which will indicate to us whether you are able to pay directly at the close of escrow our buyer's agent commission, or if you want us to only ask the sellers if they're willing to compensate. So those are choices that you will make respectively, depending on your broker and your agent that you're working with. Every agency brokerage will be different. They will have their own legal language, their own method of explaining it. But for all intents and purposes, this is, again, a car form that I'm showing you. Okay. We have a separate form for our personal brokerage. So again, you're going to have to make these decisions on what method you want to be represented and what the term will be for that. Okay. And this will be presented. It'll be part of our brokerage office. It'll also be, shared with the title companies at some point before closing, and even probably the lenders if they need any information. But this is just, in a nutshell, part of the changes that are happening. Now, if you happen to be a listing agent, if you happen to be a buyer visiting a open house, now we will also have a new form that indicates basically that, we are representing the sellers, and the fact that you're coming to the open house does not indicate that we represent you. Again, these are new changes that are being implemented and will be required. And don't be surprised if you see this when you go into an open house, that we have to make it clear to the general public that, we are working for the sellers and there is no agency if we answer questions or give you information on an open house. So these are all things that are very important for the public to understand. And again, this is all new uncharted territory. I'm sure that, over time, there'll be more changes or more clarifications. But for now, I just wanted to share this with you so that just for informational purposes. Again, my name is Al Espinor. I'm a realtor with Century 2021 Select Real Estate here in Stockton, California. I've been practicing real estate for 18 years and, have a long, loyal list of clients, but I'm always open to working with new folks, new families and people that want to purchase or sell real estate. So look forward to, talking to you. My number is 209-351-3180. You'll find it on my YouTube page and my Al Espinor Century 21 Select Facebook page, my business page. Okay. I wish you a great Wednesday, great day. Thank you for your time and attention. Bye.